All right, everybody, so here it is. It is extremely dirty right now. It is still winter time. As you can see, I have not cleaned this car up. I just bought it, and I have a lot of work to do on it, but I got it for an extremely good deal. Probably one of the, if not the cheapest uncrashed E92 M3s probably ever sold in the United States. I'm not gonna tell you how much I bought it for, but it was a very good deal, so couldn't pass it up. Like I said, I wasn't planning on buying a car anytime soon. I'm actually looking for a house right now, so, but for the price, I couldn't let it go. I do have some stuff to fix though. So, pretty minor scratches down here on the bumpers. So you can see those. All the rims are curb rashed, but I'm probably gonna go with the 19-inch competition wheels in silver. Anyway, somewhere on the car, there's one little ding. This is kind of a big killer for me. The carbon fiber roof here is delaminating. So luckily I did find a body shop that said if I can get all of the old clear coat off and get the windshield out, the rear window out, they're gonna go ahead and try to repair it for me. None of the other body shops around here would even touch it, so luckily enough, they're gonna go ahead and try to clear it for me. I don't know how this the sun damaged carbon is gonna look once it's cleared, but when I wet it, it's almost impossible to tell the difference between where I've recently stripped off the clear and where it was stripped off. So that's something that, you know, hopefully won't look too bad. Worst case scenario, I wrap it. So the inside, we have this rip in the leather. So I'm actually looking, I'm gonna keep my eye out for like a whole interior, or maybe even if I can find just this seat in this color. I'm not a huge fan of this color, but it's you know, it looks pretty nice. It's got the individual sound system, so it actually has the color of the interior in the speakers. It has the upgraded sound package, which is good. Comfort access, which is great. Heated steering, or heated seats, which is good for here in the state of Maine for some fall driving. Again, the rims are all curb rashed. Brakes are pretty good. I have one strut I need to replace. Not sure if I'm gonna go with lowering springs or not. But either way, I wanted to show everybody the car now in its dirty start-off condition, and then I got a lot of work to do, but it's going to be pretty nice when I'm all done with it. And I don't know how long I'll keep it, but it's one of those kind of iconic BMWs. You know, it's the only M car, actually the only BMW where one motor was only put in this car alone. All of the other engines that BMW has ever built have gone in multiple different cars. So that's pretty cool about this car. Also, it is the last naturally aspirated M car that they've ever made. All the other ones now are turbocharged. Also the only M3 ever with a V8, except for, I think I should say the only production M3 they ever made with a V8. They did make, I believe they made one model with the V8 that was in the M5, the E39 M5. So, but like I said, that was not a production car. This is the only M3 production car with a naturally aspirated V8. Pretty excited to have the car. I've already driven it several times and it drives great. Tires have a ton of flat spots because it sat in the garage for 2 years and they definitely need to be balanced. But other than that, thing drives great. And I am super excited to turn this into a beautiful car again. All right, everybody, so I'm in the M3 right now. Just kind of want to show you the interior a little bit. So again, not the trim that I would have picked, but I think this is probably one of the neatest wood trims I've ever seen. It almost looks like alligator skin. And if you don't know this, wood trim is actually real wood, so that's kind of, I think that's kind of neat. I kind of like it. Not a huge wood trim fan in these M cars, but kind of torn. Do I swap it out or not? I really kind of think that's a really interesting wood trim. Not a huge fan of the, you know, the light beige leather, but still not bad. I think it looks pretty nice. It does have the, I think they call it the individual sound system, so it has like the colors of the interior in the speaker itself with the upgraded sound system, so it sounds pretty good in here for a car of this age. The, you know, BMW's first swing at the DCT transmission, and that's light years ahead of the SMG transmissions that they had in the E46 M3. It's a very good transmission, very little issues with it. It does have this kind of neat leather center console trim rather than wood trim, which I think is pretty neat. The steering wheel is destroyed. This usually happens when people wear excessive amounts of hand lotion. It basically sucks into the leather, and then it starts to basically eat the paint right off of it. And then once the paint comes off, you know, all the oils and stuff from your skin can just suck into the leather, and then it starts to do that. So I have sat here and cleaned it. There's no getting that off. I mean, that is literally the finish of the leather is gone. So that's why I have the competition steering wheel. I already have it straight from the dealership, brand new. Again, I'm going to update the paddle shifters. I mean, these aren't bad, but the problem that I found is when you're going fast and you're trying to drive, sometimes your hand is here and you have to like lift your finger up pretty far. You can see in the back. So if you're like here, you have to lift your finger up pretty far to grab it. So the ones that I had, the new ones, they come down to about here, I think. And then they stick up a little bit more on the top as well. So, and they look a little nicer than those. But overall, interior's in pretty good condition. Still need to do a really deep clean in here. I did a quick clean just so that it doesn't look like crap, because it was very dirty. But I definitely need to go through and do a complete detail in here. Again, I got to get up there in the back to get the shark fin out. So I want to get that whole roof situation done first before I go through with any type of crazy cleaning, especially since this thing's just going to be in a body shop for a few days and probably get some dust and stuff in it anyways. So, like I said, step one, roof. And then I will go have I'll probably have the windshield replaced completely, and then the rear glass. If they really do want me to take it out to have it cleared, then I'll go ahead and put that back in myself. All right, everybody, so really quick before I jump on to working on the roof, like I said, I was not looking for a car. I'm in the middle of looking for a house, which, you know, as we all know, prices are super inflated, especially here in the state of Maine on houses. So I've been saving diligently to try to get a house. But when this deal came along, I couldn't pass it up. But the whole reason I've always wanted to own an E92 M3 started off when the first one actually came into the state of Maine on the truck at the dealership. I was still a master tech at the dealership at the time. And I quickly ran into my boss's office and asked him to work up the PDI. I got the PDI and the keys and went out and did the PDI and immediately went out and drove the car. I didn't get to drive it much, but I was hooked right off the bat just from the sound. The sound of the naturally aspirated V8 engine was just amazing to me. It sounded like I was in a muscle car, but it had the handling and feel and, you know, the drivability of a BMW, which was the best of both worlds to me. So I was hooked right away when I first did that first PDI. It's been many years since then, and throughout those years, the E92 is slowly becoming kind of an iconic BMW. And what I mean by that is it's the last BMW M car with a naturally aspirated engine. It's the, you know, only production M3 with a V8 engine. Also, they really stepped up the performance and drivability of the car from the E46. The suspension is like night and day when you drive the two cars. You can definitely feel the multi-link suspension. It handles much better in this car than the E46. So that was a huge jump for BMW, I think, anyways. The brakes are still kind of subpar. That's one of the biggest complaints about any BMW when you get out on the track, is the brakes kind of, they start to fade pretty quick. So that's something that still, there's plenty of big brake kits and performance brake kits out there now for the E92 M3, but that would be, I would say, the only downfall of the car. It seems to have like that perfect amount of power. It's still very fast around the track. And also the double clutch transmission was a huge leap for BMW over the older SMG transmissions. The older SMG transmissions were a nightmare to drive in traffic. They were very harsh. They were not a fun transmission to just drive around in. You could get used to it. You could learn to drive it like a manual transmission by letting off the gas and then shifting, and that made it much smoother. But it just was not a great transmission, and they do have a lot of failures between the pumps and internals. It just was not a good transmission at all. So the DCT transmission is a huge leap again in technology on this car, and again, it just comes together to be a really awesome driver's car that you could drive on the road. You could literally buy this thing brand new and just literally take it right to the track and drive it on the track. Not that it's 100% set up for the track yet, but it's still doable, and you can still have a great time, and it'll handle and perform fantastic. But all those things add up to a really great car that's slowly becoming kind of an iconic BMW. Is this one that I'm sitting in considered a collector's car? Absolutely not. Which is why I'm not worried about doing the modifications I want to do to it. There are definitely some of these E92 M3s out there that are collector cars, like the Lime Rock Park Edition, and the GTS version. There's a lot of these out there that are becoming collector cars, but this one is not one of them. It is very low mileage, 62,000 miles on a 2008. This thing did spend a lot of time in a garage, which is not necessarily always a good thing. But slowly but surely I can fix this thing up, make it the car that I want it to be. And again, I do really want to get this thing out onto the track. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I want to do there's some charity race track days here in New England. And then there's also a bunch of race driving courses that I want to start taking if I get time. Time's kind of an issue for me, just because I have single dad with kids and 2 businesses. So that's kind of time's gonna be the big killer there. But those are some things I would like to do with this car. And again, if you want to subscribe, continue on watching me transform this car into what I want it to become. And once I have time to go to any of these track days, I will definitely bring the camera along and videotape those as well. So hang in there. I'm going to jump up on the roof and start stripping the clear off, and then we'll just kind of go from there, and we'll kind of watch this car turn into what it's going to be. Thanks for watching, everybody.